Hello everybody, welcome along to our webinar today. Sorry, a couple of minutes late just getting started. I just had a couple of little technical issues, in particular with my email. So here we are today. Welcome along to our webinar. My name is Andrew Sims, and I'm one of the founders and the CEO here at SuiteFiles. And you're with us today because we met Molly, I imagine, at the BGL Regtech events either in Brisbane or Sydney last week. So thank you for coming along to the webinar and having an interest in SuiteFiles. First of all, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping and then I'll run through the agenda for today, and we'll spend probably upwards of the next hour having a chat about SuiteFiles and having a look at the actual system itself to show you how it all works. Now, you can ask plenty of questions. That's all a part of the housekeeping stuff here. Oh, actually, first thing to let you know, I'm recording this session. So we'll record it, we'll post it online, and then you'll get an email probably tomorrow with a link to the recording. Feel free to pass that recording on to anybody who you think should have a look at it. And also feel free to have a look at it again if you think that you need to do that. As I was starting to talk about questions, we're using the Zoom system today for running the webinar, and in that control panel you can ask questions. Please feel free to type them in as they come up. Most often I respond to the questions at the end of the webinar, but please make sure you type them in so that we capture them. We've got them there and I can address them before we finish today. Also, just this little reminder really around getting the best out of the webinar session today. So ideally, if you could close any other apps that you've got open, that will, I guess, remove distractions. But more importantly, sending webinars and video over the internet can be a bit bandwidth, consume quite a bit of bandwidth. So you'll get the best video experience if you do close things down. Okay, all right, the agenda for today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to provide you with a really quick introduction to SuiteFiles, who we are, what we do, and all that sort of stuff and things, just so that you get a feel for us as an organisation. Then we're going to have a look at how SuiteFiles works, really, to help you in your business. And in particular, we're going to have a look at how SuiteFiles works in the world for accountants. And I'm going to dig into our integration points with Xero in particular. And then we'll have a little chat around migrating to SuiteFiles and just the processes that are involved with that, so that you get a feel for, should you decide to go ahead, what it's all about. All right then, so let's jump into the introduction into SuiteFiles. So who are we? Well, we're a small business. We're actually small and medium business really now. We've grown a bit over the last couple of years. We're based in Wellington in New Zealand. And we've been here the whole time. We've been in operation for about 7.5 years now. Now we're a business, because we've only been around for 7.5 years, we really started up at the start of this trend to moving everything to the cloud. And we are what you'd call a born in the cloud business. So what that means is everything that we do is cloud-based. So we live I guess that dream, as it were, that we try to promote to all of our customers. We're a Microsoft Cloud partner. We've won awards with Microsoft here in New Zealand for the work that we've done with Microsoft Cloud computing. And the interesting or important thing around that is that everything that we do is built on Microsoft's cloud platform. So in particular, what that means is SuiteFiles is built on top of the Microsoft Office 365 platform. And that is a prerequisite. You do need to have Office 365 before you can use SuiteFiles. Now, we use Office 365 for one particular thing, and that is there's a storage facility in there for your documents. So all of your files are going to be stored in the Office 365 systems with Microsoft. What that means at the end of the day is that we're not storing the files for you. We don't have a data center here, sitting in a leaky garage in Wellington with everyone's files on them. We're actually using Microsoft's data centers. And for those of us in Australia and New Zealand and the South Pacific, those data centers are actually onshore in Australia, in Melbourne and Sydney. We've been involved with Xero since we started. In fact, the whole business came about because of a relationship that we had with some key people at Xero. And just over 7 years ago, Xero started this idea they called the Modern Practice. And what that was an initiative that they were taking, in particular in New Zealand here, around helping accounting practices shut down their servers completely and move everything to the cloud. And SuiteFiles really came about as a result of that initiative, and Xero looking for a partner that could help accounting firms work with their documents on the Office 365 platform. So yeah, we've got a really close, tight relationship with Xero, and we've been around in the Xero ecosystem for quite a while now. This is another interesting and I think quite important point. SuiteFiles as a document management solution is really designed for the small to medium business. It's not a system that was built for consumers that you might use at home, and then we've just tried to scale it up a little bit to meet business demands. And it's not a system that was designed for large enterprises that we've then tried to scale back again for the small to medium business market. We have built everything for the small to medium business, and everything is designed that way to make life nice and easy for you when you're working with your files. And then there's the whole integration piece that we've got with Xero that came actually after the Modern Practice initiative. So when we first built SuiteFiles, we weren't really building to integrate with Xero. We were just building a file management system that accountants and in fact any other small to medium business could use. And then a year or two later, we actually built integration in particular to the Xero practice management solution, and that's really given us quite a strong niche in the accounting industry as a result. So, as we say, what's the problem? Why are we doing this? And probably why are you here today? And it's really to try and find a really good cloud-based document management system. A lot of IT companies, the managed service providers that deal with small to medium businesses today, still struggle to work out what is a great solution for moving everything off their clients' servers and into the cloud, and what is a great solution for documents. Really, there's not a lot out there. You could use some of the sort of the commercial products like a Dropbox that they're trying to scale up into the business space. But there are a number of reasons why that solution doesn't really scale for a business of, probably even more than 5 people. So yeah, a lot of these managed service providers have really struggled to try and find a good cloud-based solution for their customers. This is where SuiteFiles comes in. And also, we've obviously got a great integration with Xero, so that if you are a Xero-based accounting firm and you're using the Xero Practice Manager, you can get a whole bunch of added value by using SuiteFiles compared to what you might have had, especially compared to just working on a server. So that's, I guess that's the intro part of SuiteFiles. Hopefully you get a bit of a feel for what we're trying to achieve and do as a business. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip over to my demo site and have a look and see whether, I'm going to have a look around and show you how it all works and how everything in the SuiteFile system fits together. Actually, first of all, I better just close that and we can get going here. Okay, so what I've got on the screen here, in fact, let's go back to the home screen, is my SuiteFiles demo site. And on here, what you can see, this is the home screen, and when you log in, what you'll see are folders and files, really. So over on the left-hand side here, I've got a list of all of my top-level folders and SuiteFiles, and I can click into a folder. In particular, let's look at our clients folder. And here, what we'll see, we've obviously got some files under the clients folder, but more importantly, we've got a folder here for every client that we've got set up in our system. Each client has their own folder and, of course, their own files in those folders. Let's have a look at my 99 Corporation client, which is the one I normally show for demos because it's got the most content in there. And what you can see, we've got files. In this one in particular, we've got an email file, but we've also got PDFs and Word documents. Now, being based on Office 365, working with your documents in the browser or through SuiteFiles is really straightforward. You just simply click on a file, and this is going to open this document up into the Office web apps for me. So this is Word Online. Obviously not a lot in this document here, but you get how it works. This is opened up in a preview mode, and if I want to edit the document, I can use the browser. I can just click the Edit in Browser option here, and this is going to open things up and show me a number of options for editing my file. In fact, you'll see the ribbon. It's just going to come up on the screen here shortly, and that's exactly the same as what you'd have when you're working with a Word document on your desktop computer. If you want to, you don't actually have to use these desktop, or should I say the browser Office apps. You can also work directly into the desktop. So what I mean by that, you've got Office installed onto your desktop computer and you want to use Word or Excel or PowerPoint, well, you can just simply click the Open in Office button. Oops. This is for some of these setup things for my computer. And now that's just going to open this file directly into Word for me. And I can start editing the document that I've opened straight from the browser, from the cloud. I can edit it directly in the desktop version of Office, or Word in this case. There you go. Oops. And I can hit save, and that's actually going to save this file straight back into my SuiteFile system, into Office 365, and the next person who opens the document will be able to see those changes that have been made to it. So you can work with your files just as you would if you had a server. You can simply open the documents up in the browser, or you can open them up directly into your desktop computer. Getting around is nice and easy. You can see, obviously you can navigate, and one of the things that we can do, and we'll talk about this as a part of the migration piece, is that we can pick up a whole file system off your server and copy it as is directly into SuiteFiles. So you've got the same folder and file structure. So you can see that we can navigate around. I've obviously got a bunch of subfolders in here as well. Let's have a look and see if they've got anything in them. These ones have got things in them, and you can see more documents and more subfolders and navigate your way through the system. We can also search. So if I come into the search text box up here, let's just type the word test. What you can see here now is a bunch of results. This is what I call quick search. What comes back in quick search are all of the client folders that have the word test in their name. So that's all the folders that are sitting under the clients folder here in SuiteFiles. And also I've got some files and some other subfolders. Now the files and subfolders view here are limited to the first 7 results that we can find, and there's some things that go on in the background to look for relevance. So files that are that you've recently worked on or marked as favorites or something like that will come up in those results. You can see there's only, say, 7 files. Maybe there's a whole bunch of other files that I can't list here because I can only see 7. Well, all you do at this point is activate the advanced search in SuiteFiles, and that's just done by typing your criteria into the text box and hitting enter. And that's now searched across my entire file system. And what you can see now are all the folders and files that meet the criteria of the word test. Now, obviously what it doesn't do is show you the client folders, but it shows you all the other folders that meet that criteria. And you can see, you know, as I say, 571 results. We can filter these, drill down, and just show you various things. So, for example, we can filter by file type. There's all the PDFs that meet the criteria of the word test. We could drill into client folders. The 100 corporation folder, there you go. So there's some things in there that meet the criteria of the word test. And so very quickly, you can drill down into these folders and files and find the things that you're looking for. Okay, that's just a real quick look around the SuiteFiles. What I want to do is just flip over to the Xero Practice Manager and show you how we integrate with Xero and Xero's practice management tools. Also, just because you've come to us from the BGL world, we're actually building, and we've got a prototype, or I guess you call it a beta, with a customer of ours at the moment, with BGL and an integration there, and some of that integration with BGL is a subset of what I'll show you here today. But when we get to the point of the things that we will do with BGL, I'll point those out to you as well. So when we are in the Xero Practice Manager, what we can do is we can connect or link client records in the Practice Manager with client folders inside of SuiteFiles. So the way that works is, in fact, let's just take go through a workflow. Let's create a whole brand new client, and let's just call this Regtech Limited. That's a good name for a client, given we've come from the BGL Regtech event, and we hit save. So we're creating a new client, setting it up inside of the Practice Manager, and what happens right now is that the Practice Manager looks inside of SuiteFiles and wants to know whether there's a client folder in SuiteFiles called Regtech Limited. Because there's not, this pop-up screen has come up, and we can choose to create the client folder in SuiteFiles, and we can do that using what we call a folder template. So this is a standard set of subfolders that we're going to create under the new client folder that we're setting up. So we're just going to hit create. That now is doing its thing, and it's going to create that client folder inside of SuiteFiles, and you can see a little notification, tells me it's all done. Another visual cue that lets me know it's all done is this link here that's been put into the Practice Manager, and this is a link directly to the client folder in SuiteFiles. So if we click on that, it's going to open up the client folder for us. There you go. So what you can see now, here's the Regtech Limited client folder, and we've got the subfolders that we set up as a part of our folder template. In the Practice Manager, you'll also see that you've got this Documents tab. This is a view into the client folder inside of SuiteFiles. So what you can see here is this view. You can see all the folders. We haven't got any files set up or loaded into this client folder. But what we can do, let's just show you how this works. I'm going to upload. There you go. That one will do. A file into SuiteFiles, into this client folder. When that's done, we'll go back to the Practice Manager, and we will just refresh the screen here. You can see there's that document now sitting in the view here. So what we're doing with this screen is we're looking into SuiteFiles, and we're mirroring, or showing you exactly the folder structure and all the files that are in there. And we can click on a file and open it up, or we can drill into folders and go down further into them if we need to. We go back to the details screen, some things to highlight. If I want to change my client name in the Practice Manager, I'll get a message from SuiteFiles asking would I like to change the client folder name in SuiteFiles. If I want to archive the client record in the Practice Manager, I'll also get a message back from SuiteFiles asking if I'd like to archive the client folder over there as well. Now, other things we can do, let's just edit this client, and let's put a whole bunch of data in here that we're then going to start to use. So this is, I guess this is pretty much along the lines of where we we'll do some similar things with BGL. So this is, in BGL, you'll keep client details. So and then we're going to use those details inside document templates that we set up in SuiteFiles. So we're going to do this from Practice Manager in this instance. So let's come in here and let's go PO Box. Bear with me as I do all this. The beauty of it, well, it takes a little bit of time, but the beauty of it is that you can see that it's real information going in, and in real time we can actually pull that information back directly out of here and use it to populate things inside of SuiteFiles. Down here I've got a bunch of custom fields that I've actually set up inside the Practice Manager to collect information. And I'll just fill a few of them in. And there's more custom fields here too. In this case, these are all just checkboxes, obviously. And we're going to hit save. The last thing I need to do as a part of the setup is add a contact, and in particular a primary contact with some salutation information. Here we go. So the name here is going to be Sarah Johnson, and let's just put that in there for now. Okay, so we're all set up, ready to go. Now, when I go back into SuiteFiles, what I can do is I can go into what we call a template gallery. That's over here, and you can see this Manage Templates option. This shows me all the templates that I've got set up inside my SuiteFile system. I can have Excel spreadsheets, I can have Word documents, I can have emails. These are the standard Office templates, and you can see I've also got my folder templates here as well. But what I'd like to do is show you this XPM demo letter template, because this is all set up so to pull information back directly out of the Practice Manager that I can pre-populate into my letter. So here you can see I've got name and address details. I've got the salutation, so that's the actual contact person. I can put a date in here. I've also got the ability to use those custom fields that I'd set up and collected information for. And then these fields in here are actually looking at those checkboxes in the services area, and it's looking to see whether they're yes/no fields, and then we can put various information in here if need be. There's also some logic built into these fields, in particular. The example here, a very simple one, this one here, which is looking to see whether the newsletter checkbox, so down here in my new client, whether the value there is yes or no. So these, this logic here is looking for yes/no values for a certain field, or true/false, and then we can insert various pieces of text into the document as a result. So in this case, if what we're doing is we're just making a statement, this is the services or things that they're after, and this sentence is very simple. It's just saying either you do or you do not wish to receive our monthly newsletter. Given the value here is no, then I expect that we're going to inject the words do and not into this sentence. Okay, so let's just go back to our client folder. And let's now look to create a new file based on that template that we were having a look at. So I do that by clicking the Create button over on the right here and go File from Template, and I can see all my templates here, and here's my Abacus Accounting XPM demo letter. I click on that. At the bottom of the screen, what you'll see here, most important thing is it's got the client name in here. So the system has worked out that we're sitting inside a client folder in SuiteFiles, and there's a corresponding client record in the Practice Manager, and it's automatically populating that for us. You can actually create a document from a template anywhere in the SuiteFile system, and if you're not in a client folder, or if there's not a corresponding client record and the matching happening within XPM, you can choose a different client if you need to. We've also got a name for the file. This is just a starter for 10, which is based on the actual name of the template with the client name appended to it. So I've got the right client. I'm happy with the file name. I'm just going to click create. So now what we're doing is we're creating a new document in this folder, and it's going to populate the document with information from the Xero Practice Manager. So here you go, you can see there's the name of the client, there's our address details. We're sending this document to Sarah, and there's all this information in here that we've checked. Also, there's that we do not wish to receive a monthly newsletter, and the whole file is all populated with information from the Practice Manager. Quick as that. This is great because you can spend 5 minutes setting up your template, putting the right merge fields into that document, and then once you've got everything set up in the Practice Manager, as long as that Practice Manager is the source of truth for your client info, you're going to populate these documents correctly every time. Now, as I mentioned, we've just got our first client starting with a beta version of an integration with BGL as well, and we'll be able to actually pull the client information out of BGL if you don't have them set up in the Xero Practice Manager. That should be live in the next few weeks. Another key thing that we can do directly from within SuiteFiles is actually get a document to be signed. So you can see a big button in the middle of the screen here that says request signature. So any Word document that I've got open in the browser version of Word, I can click this request signature link, button. And what's going to happen is we're going to convert that file to a PDF, and then we're going to be able to populate the PDF with some signature fields and then send it out to our recipient for signing. So here we go, we've now got a PDF document. Let's go document signing, and I'm going to use the advanced signing feature because this way I can control everything that we're doing here. So Sarah Johnson from memory. I'm actually just going to put my email address in here, or my demo email address, so it comes to me so I can show you what it looks like, and we can do some signing. Microsoft.com. If I choose, I can put a mobile phone number in here, and that's for a two-factor authentication for when the person signs a document. I'm not going to bother with that for the purposes of today's demo. And I can actually also add multiple signers to the file if I need to by clicking that button there. I don't have any other people to sign at the moment, so let's just click next. So what you can see now is our PDF all ready for signing. So actually I should put Jamie down as the partner. I should have put myself, but I'll put my signature here, and then let's go for Sarah, and let's put her signature here. Her full name can go here, and the date signed here. Let's line a few things up because it's all a bit untidy, and now our document is all marked up, ready for signing. Click save and send. At this point, we can draft up a letter or some text for an email. Hi Sarah, here's the document as promised. Please sign and return. If I had the mobile phone number set up for the SMS verification code, I just click yes to that. Also, the document lasts for 7 days, and it does expire after 7 days. If the document gets into an expiry state, you can extend it. But yeah, just obviously puts a bit of time on there so it's not sitting there forever ready to try and be signed. Let's click save. What happens now is that Sarah is going to get an email. Now that email is going to my demo email account. So let's just open up Outlook to my demo account. Okay, there you go. It's all been sent out. And we'll have a look and see what comes up in here. Actually, while we're waiting for that to open, I will show you this area of SuiteFiles here. So this is sort of an admin view of all of the documents that have been sent out for signing, and you can see when they were sent and when they expire and what's happened to them. So this document here was declined, so that was sent out for a digital signature, and the recipient chose not to sign it and declined it. This one here has been completed, These next two have expired. They've gone past their use by date. This one right down the bottom has been cancelled. So that means I sent it out for signing, but then chose to cancel the document. And all the different categories, you can aggregate by them using these filters over on the left-hand side here. Another thing with our document signing is you can actually do some oh, that's the archive one, sorry, some custom branding. So custom branding allows us to put our logo and some of our own colors into the emails that are sent and received by the people signing the documents, but also around the web page that they're using when we get the document signed. Okay, so let's go back to my email. And here we go. A document signature has been requested. So this email has just come into my inbox. I can open that up and you can see Abacus Accounting and the custom branding. Here's the message that we wrote up saying that there's a document to be signed. And to review the document, we just click on this big button here. Now you can see the document here ready for signing. We just simply click continue, and there's our file. We can scroll straight to where the signing is required, and we just simply click on the boxes here, and that's going to put our signature, name and date signed into the document. And we click sign. When I click that sign button, that's when I would get the text verification code had I decided to set that up. And we're done. It's as easy as that. I'll get some emails back into my inbox. So this email, this document is viewed. So because I not only sent the or received the emails for signing the document, I also sent them out from my demo site. So this is my standard email address where I'd get everything back. So you can see Sarah has opened the document, and I can see that she has viewed it, something that's obviously really interesting to note. Then we've also got in here another email telling me that it's been signed. Sorry, all the notifications coming up, and actually once the document has been signed, this email goes out to everybody who signed it, and there's an attachment on here, I should say, that has the document in it, the signed document. But also back in SuiteFiles, oops, that's not where I want to go, sorry. Back in SuiteFiles here, if we refresh the page, we will see that this Abacus Accounting XPM demo letter for Regtech Limited goes to a status, should go to a status of completed. Not just yet. It'll be there shortly. But let's just go to the Regtech folder. And you can see in here, here's a copy of the document with the word signed appended to the file name. And if we open it up, this is the signed file that we sent out. Come back to us. You can see all the electronic signatures in there. And also down the bottom of the screen, critically, the thing that you're really interested in is all the digital information required to confirm that the document was signed, the IP address or computer that it was signed upon, when, and that it's all electronically verified and put together, and that the document hasn't been changed, and it is a signed copy of that file. If we go back into here, there we go, it's just refreshed properly. You can see now that that file has a status of completed. I can come in here and I can have a look at the history of what's going on, and you can see the various bits of information. So document viewed, document signed, date and time. If I'd had set up for the SMS verification code, would see information around that as well. So really simple, easy to use document signing feature for any file that you set up in SuiteFiles, and the document gets signed or set up, created in SuiteFiles, set up for signing, and then the signed file ends up back in your SuiteFiles folder. You never have to move a file anywhere to another, for example, to another third-party solution to send out for signing, and then when you get the signed copy, move it back into SuiteFiles. It's all in here for you. Now we were just having a look. We'll move over now to Outlook or email integration. So we just had a look at Outlook here, and we could see that there are a few emails that are coming around document signing. But what you possibly also noticed was over on the right-hand side here, this email add-in. So this add-in here connects directly to our SuiteFiles site. And you can see the folders, and we could even have a look and see if we can find our Regtech friends. There we go. There's our Regtech folder and all the subfolders and files that we've set up in that Regtech folder for now. What I've really shown you there, or wanted to highlight, is the fact that every folder is there sitting in the SuiteFiles Outlook add-in, and you can navigate your way around and find all the subfolders and files for a particular folder. Now, the purpose of the add-in really is to allow you to very quickly and easily save content out of your email, out of your inbox, and into SuiteFiles. The problem that you're trying to solve is that when an email comes into your inbox, it's there, it's for you, you can see it, and nobody else can. If you need to share that information with someone, you'd normally just forward the email. Now, forwarding the email is fine as long as the recipient, first of all, is looking out for it, sees it, opens it, and can take action on it then and there. But often you'll send it to someone hoping that they might take an action or read it, but often that email will sit in someone's inbox for a while. They might even file it somewhere and then forget about it and not understand or realize that all the information that's critical for a job that you might have been working on and you need to pass on to them is now gone. So so what we can do is we can then take information out of our inbox and save it straight into the SuiteFiles system. So information in our inbox, well, I've got an email open in preview mode here. I've obviously got the content of the email, that could be critical, or I've got attachments in the email and they could be critical as well. If I want to save the attachment, I can just drag and drop the attachment from an email, drop it into my folder over here, and see that it gets uploaded into my folder. There it is up there. The other thing I could do is I could drag and drop the whole email itself. So I can drag and drop that email across, and that's now loaded into the SuiteFiles system just there. So it's pretty straightforward to get information out of your inbox and into SuiteFiles. And let's just have a quick look, just double check that there's a few more files in here, including an email file. If we refresh the view, we should see those come up. There we are here. There's the email file at the top of the list, and then there's that Word document at the bottom of the list. So that's really quite simple. Oops. That wasn't actually what I wanted to do. Let's go back over here. I want it to be in here, and I wanted to create a new email. So let's now take the example of a brand new email, and how do we attach files into it? Well, from SuiteFiles, we've got this Attach from SuiteFiles button here. We can click on that. Opens up another browser for us. Let's find our Regtech. Oops, I've got to spell properly. Client. Drill in there. Here's my files. Let's take that signed PDF and add it in there. So there it is there, ready to go. Another thing we can do is actually set up file or email templates. So just like we had a file template for one of our clients, or that we'd set up earlier on and we populated with client information, we can do exactly the same thing with emails. Now, email templates are great. I can type up the content in my email. I can include attachments. I might even have a subject in the subject line. And I can click Save as Email Template. Give it a name. Include attachments if need be, and hit Save. And that will save that email template into my SuiteFiles system so that anyone else in my organization can actually use it. Then when it comes time to using those templates, all you do is create a new email, click Insert from Template. Here's a template that I've already set up, and you'll see all the information that was saved in that email template. This email template is obviously been set up specifically for the demo, and what you'll notice very quickly is we're using these merge fields. We've got them in the subject line, we've got them in the body of the email. We've also got an attachment that has a merge field in its name, and if we open the attachment, you can see merge fields in the attachment as well. So when we want to create a new email from that attachment in particular, or sorry, to say that template in particular, we get the option to pre-populate with one of our clients' information. So there's Regtech Limited, and we click pre-populate. And now what you can see is the document has all been set up ready, or sorry, the email has been set up ready to go. I've got the subject line populated. I've got the body text of the email all populated, ready to go. The attachment has a new name because the name of the client has been added to it. And when we open up the attachment, it's all been populated with information directly from the Xero Practice Manager. So really powerful tool, just like with standard document templates. With email templates, we can pull information from the Practice Manager, and we'll be able to do the same from BGL. And we can populate those emails with all the information that we need without having to copy and paste, without having to remember and forget or make typos. Lastly, when I go to send an email, I get the option to do a save on send. Now, this is really useful because what I can do is I can save this email to a location inside of SuiteFiles. So it hasn't picked one for me by default. I can do that now. Go to my Regtech folder. I can just choose to save it there. This is a really nice little feature, this one here, the save conversation. So what happens now when I check that is that every time an email comes back to me, that is a part of this conversation thread, it automatically gets saved into that client or into that folder that I've just chosen. And also every time I send an email from this point onwards, the sent item is going to automatically be saved into that folder as well. So I just click send and file. And that's done it. That's now saving that email directly into that client folder for us. Okay. There it is there. The second to bottom. Oh, there we go. The second to bottom file in that list is that the one that we've just sent. And that's a really quick overview of our Outlook add-in. So that's the best part of the demo. What I'm going to do now is flip back to my presentation, and I'll just have a quick chat around migration, and then we've obviously got a little bit of time left after that to think about questions that you might have. So migrating to Office or to SuiteFiles. Migration options. So people ask us, what do we need to do around a migration? What can and can't we migrate? And there's some options. So you can choose to migrate nothing. That is definitely an option, and you can choose to create the folder structure and upload the files as you need them into the SuiteFile system. And a few people have done that over the years. That's certainly a valid way to get started with SuiteFiles. The other thing is, which probably the majority of people end up doing, is they come to us and ask, how can we get everything off our file server or out of our current document management system into SuiteFiles? And we can take everything from those systems and we can get them uploaded for you. We have processes and tools for doing that. So, two ends of the spectrum: migrate nothing, migrate everything, and of course there's this middle ground as well. A lot of that just comes out of conversations that we'd have around the best options for you. What can be migrated? Well, anything that's on a file server can essentially be migrated. Any files. There are a couple of file types that Microsoft doesn't like to be put into their Office 365 data centers. They're generally executable files that have to do with developers and coding and things like that. And they're not really relevant to any of our clients, those files. when we do a migration, we literally copy a folder and file structure that's sitting on a server, and we copy it in its entirety in that structure up into SuiteFiles. The beauty of that is that you've replicated exactly what's on the server, and so from day one, people know how to navigate their way around because they're used to that folder structure from their server. What can we migrate from? Well, pretty much just about anything. Anything that's server-based, and where there's files on that server. Now we can migrate from some document management solutions, like an MYOB, document manager, or a virtual cabinet, and we can run processes that would extract the files from those systems, structure them into a client-based folder structure, and then suck that up into SuiteFiles. We've done migrations from things like Dropbox and Box, and standard file servers. They're very straightforward in terms of doing the migration. Then how long does it take? That's a question that's often asked. That's the sort of the $64 million question. It's like, how long is a piece of string? It kind of depends. Now, it depends on a few things when you're running a migration for SuiteFiles. First of all, it's the actual volume of data that you wish to migrate, the speed of your internet connection, and the source of that data. Is it coming from an existing file management system that is database driven, or is it coming simply straight from a file server? The process that we go through involves us inspecting your source files. We come up with a specific plan for your business. We then choose a weekend. We tend to migrate over the weekend, and then on a Friday evening, you go home for the night. We connect to your servers. We set up all of our tools. We migrate with the goal of being live for you first thing Monday morning when you come back into the office. When that happens on the Monday, you set up the SuiteFiles apps and connect them all to your SuiteFiles site. And then from the Monday afternoon, we start a training cycle. We run a number of training sessions each week. Starting, as I say, on the Monday, we've got a standard SuiteFiles user training session. We've got a SuiteFiles for advanced users. We've got an admin session, and we've also got a session for our integration with the Xero Practice Manager. Basically, once you've been through all that, you should be pretty much good to go. What next? If SuiteFiles is something that you think you like and you want to have a look at, we really strongly recommend that you sign up for a trial. You just simply have to go to our website, www.suitefiles.com. You can put a / in the word trial at the end of that if you like, or you can just go to suitefiles.com and click the big red trial now button. Fill in the form. We'll send you back some details so that we can get access to your Office 365 account. Once we've got that set up, we can deploy SuiteFiles pretty quickly and you can be up and going. We do have 3 different subscription plans. Everything that I've shown you today is you'll need the Pro plan. That's particularly for our document signing functionality. It's now question time. So we've got about 5 or 10 minutes, 9 minutes it says here. So that's all good. And I think there's some people who have put some things into the chat. So I'll just have a look at that. Here we go. And see if there's any questions. Can you send a client to their folder and request they save documents into the SuiteFiles folder? That is a really good question. So that's the short answer is today, if you set yourself up with SuiteFiles, you wouldn't be able to do that unless you're on my beta list. And we've got a couple of clients who are testing that functionality out. Literally, we're setting them up today. So this is something that is coming very, very soon. And it's a feature where you'll be able to set up a client folder, and you'll be able to send them tasks to request that they upload information in particular files to that folder directly. Plus, also you'll be able to put files into those folders that they would be able to work on and have a look at. So yeah, that's a really good question, and as I say, that is something that'll be launched in the next few weeks. Do we have any other questions at this stage? Okay, doesn't look like there's any other questions coming through. So, given that we've finished a few minutes early, I can let you go. You can have a few minutes back in your day. I do want to say thanks. Thank you very much for coming along, and first of all, having a chat to Molly at the BGL Regtech event. But second of all, obviously coming along and listening to me talk to you about SuiteFiles. I do hope that is something that that you've seen, that you like, that you might want to go ahead with your business. I do recommend to everybody that they trial it out and make sure that SuiteFiles is going to be the right solution for you, because we can help you become a fully cloud-based business, and we can really help you with your document management side of that. All right, everybody, thank you very much for coming along today. Have a great rest of your Monday, and also a great rest of your week. Oh, there's a really quick question. Do the clients need to set up an ID like Google or Dropbox to sign into that functionality? Yes, they can sign in a couple of ways. Well, actually, there's 3 ways, one of which I'm not allowed to tell you about just yet. But one way they can sign in is they'll have username and password. They could also use their Google credentials to sign in. And then there's a third really cool way that we'll tell you all about in a couple of weeks. Sorry, I have to hide that one from people at the moment. Okay, thanks everyone. If you do have any other questions, please feel free to email me or come through our website. And also, we'll send you out a copy of the of this recording hopefully the next 24 hours. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your week.